So beautiful. It's like the beginning of the Muppets. Yeah, I was just feeling a little. What?
How cool is that? Just discovered that.
I'm actually surprised we don't hear the neighboring movies. That's good. No, it's.
I don't know what it sounds like. So.
The thing I like about it is it's alive. Like I can hear.
Oh yeah, you hear the room.
Yeah, which is good. So.
Interesting. So, what's the plan?
The plan is, this is not a tune. It's a conversation.
I like it.
And the body of the conversation is in the A section, and the derivation is in the B. From a arc perspective, we have, sort of a slow exposition to some sort of build in whatever direction that we move into. And then we have that point of change.
Is that the B section?
At the B section. And then sort of a moderate return. And this is one of the things I was thinking about as I was sleeping one of these nights.
I like it.
When we look at it at a whole, what we've realized is that it's not a journey, it's just something like that's just kind of blowing in the wind. Like we actually haven't really gone anywhere. We've just, so we have this sort of line, but if you look at it from another line, it's more like a hot air balloon sort of thing.
I don't remember exactly how Brendan approached me about it, but in the beginning, we just got together to talk because he was curious logistically what it would take to record this project. And what he wanted was the most live sound. He wanted to capture what the music actually sounds like live, what it actually sounds like to the musicians. The individual mics did capture the individual instruments, but always when we're recording, I wanted to have room mics and stage mics to again, just to capture everything together. I wanted the bleed in there. A lot of modern recording is somewhat sterile in terms of everything has to be completely separated, and then we'll use reverb later to tie it together. The whole point of using the Somerville Theater is everything's there already. What I notice about Brendan, and I've teased him about this, but his classic pose when he's on screen, he does this like, he's listening. He literally steps back. He may stop playing or may be holding notes, but he's stopping there to listen what is going on, so he knows how to respond. So the biggest thing I take from getting to play with Brendan and getting to hear him play is the listening aspect. The fact that he really is there not just to play his guitar and to play it as loud as possible, but to play music with the people he's there with.
What is the audience going to hear on the album?
I have no idea. Now, in the short answer, what I would like to say is they'll hear a representation of a mindset. But what that means would be different to everybody.
That was weird.
Yeah, we had just as we spoke, the hard drive pickup. But we're back.
What does that mean?
It paused for a moment.
Like, what's happening? Thank you, Ariel. I never, honestly, I thought that I would never actually record an album where I never really thought about. It just didn't make any sense to me.
Is this one of the ones we did the other day? This is the polka one. Okay, great.
I get very confused by the music that I write, and the way that I write it, and the way that it comes out. And it's not so much that I don't believe anybody would want to hear it, but I can't imagine where I would ever play it. This whole project, I mean, is It's a reflection of, well, I've been using the title timestamp, and I've been really thinking about it. This past year, I did a big, like, personal stretch to play with a lot more people than I was interested in musically. And I'd have these great jam sessions. And these are the people that are going to be part of this project. Can you hear yourself, Molly?
Not very well.
Good, I can't hear you at all.
I didn't even know you were playing until I saw you looking down at your hands.
The RC, the volume thing, which is your bottom left, that should be cranked, right? No, the top. Which one is volume is bottom left? Is that one cranked?
The way we did?
If it makes sense? Yes.
I like that.
Yes. If we feel it? Yes. I felt you.
It just creates a huge shadow on your face.
Everybody that's been asked to play on this recording session is somebody that I care about, that I like as a human being, that I like as a musician, that I want to be playing with. I feel really lucky and special that I get to play and make music with these wonderful people.
on in. Welcome to the Somerville Theater. Here we are in the lobby, which pretty much looks the same as it did 98 years ago. It's been restored to its original colors and the beautiful ceiling, of course. This part of the lobby, on everything on the other side of this wall, was actually recreated, because originally this was a solid wall. On the other side, where our popcorn stand now, was a storefront, which anybody who's lived in Somerville, maybe in the past 20 years, may remember was the original Someday Cafe. The original box office was down the end of this hall, down the end of this wall. And then originally there was a second set of doors right here. So when you first entered, there was a little vestibule, and then you'd come in, get your ticket on the left, and where our beer stand is now was the original popcorn stand. Now here is our sign, which is the original sign from 1914 that used to hang outside, and it's been restored. It was saved from ruin by the theater owner in the 90s when workmen doing restoration were about to chop it up. He saved it and rightly thought it would be a good centerpiece for the lobby. Of course, behind that is our original auditorium, but down this hall, which is new, are the four other screens to make this a 5-screen theater that we added. When the building was first built, this area with this beautiful fireplace was just a waiting room for the ladies' room. And the basement was a bowling alley. The first floor were storefronts, and the second floor was the Hobbs Crystal Ballroom. And all of those were in great disuse in the 1980s, and so in the 1990s they were gutted and rebuilt into the 4 other screens we have now. We also have the Museum of Bad Art down in the basement, which is a good time. If you're here for a movie, you get to see the bad art for free. If you choose a bad movie, sometimes you get 2 pieces of bad art.
The Somerville Theater part of it is the other sort of big aspect to the point where I really love that room. And I know that some of the musicians that I have played with me there also love that room. And that's sort of like the extra partner in all of these ensembles, is how do we make the sound happen within the room. There's an incredible amount of support to playing at the Somerville Theater. For me, I feel like the sound is, it's bigger, it's wider, it's more of a feeling or a tactile thing, and it's a tragedy I can't get that anywhere else, at home, at school, while I'm driving to work.
You don't have to worry about muting your foot sound. I have 12. We all have 12?
I have 12.
Yeah, we all play together. Except for maybe Eliza comes in over there. Yeah.
Eliza, better count.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Both of the pieces that I wrote today, or that you're playing today, I wrote in New Hampshire on a writer's retreat I took.
Summer?
Yeah. It took 3 days for me to realize that it wasn't so much writing the music, I was transcribing the sounds of the woods. I went up there and I spent a lot of time just listening to bugs and rhythms of the insects and the birds and the chipmunks and all sorts of, and the wind as well. Like the wind would have a sound to it in the rain. So the thing that's happening here is, like nature, like the woods, like everything, things are gonna kind of come in and come out. And I don't think they follow normal phrases. So I think the most challenging part about this might just be the rests. and making sure everyone is on the right page. This might be considered cut time at the tempo that it's running at, like a quarter note is 150, I actually feel it like this.
16th notes you're doing?
Yeah, but I wrote it this way for, I guess, for me. Maybe I would write it differently. It's really, I think it's very sweet. I think it's, I don't know. I think it sounds really cheesy, but I think it feels really good.
No.
Like, I'd love to change the title of it, so I don't know. Whatever, that's just me.
I'm confused. Can you do it again? Again.
We take it from your entrance. The one thing that I want you guys to do is I want you to play with the room. I want the room to be part of your sound, which is from like a volume standpoint.
Yeah. Okay.
You have more dry sound here, in my opinion. More echoing from the more.
Yeah, I feel like I can hear better, the hall better here,
But I think it sounds better. We sound better there.
Yeah, there's more watery there for us to hear, but it projects in every direction basically. You have this full sound.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like the room. That's why we're here. So let's do it.
Scoot back.
Here?
I hold this note on my B flat. So I think it's not the timing.
I also don't know how we are balance-wise. Like I have so much low C string stuff, and I know I'm just paranoid of my instrument being very loud all the time. How's the balance?
I think technically the first time I met Brendan was fall of 1998. I was a student at the Berklee College of Music, and he was a student there as well. And I think I technically went into a show he was hosting at the Berklee cafeteria. We called them calf shows, and I walked out. But it wasn't because it was bad. It was because I was very confused. I walked in, he did a Bill Frisell calf show. I'd never heard Bill Frisell before. And I walked in the cafeteria and I was like, what is this weird sounding underwater music? And then I left. I remember he started studying with this guitar teacher, Jay Wyke, in the Boston area, who was really influential to him. And I remember he was really working on trying to develop a career as a musician and a gigging musician, and he had graduated from Berklee. So he was working with Jay Wyke and really working on trying to develop like a solo guitar repertoire. And you know, Brendan studied jazz, but he also really came from like a rock sort of background, and getting his hands around jazz was work for him. And I remember him working for hours on Prelude to a Kiss. Was one of the first tunes that he was really working up solo renditions of. And I used to listen to him practice that all the time. And it's amazing now, because now he can just pull out any book and he's got an immediate like solo jazz arrangement. And even back at that time when he was at Berklee and after Berklee, he did a lot of composing. He used to do these, I think he used to call them like 30-second tunes. He would sit down in the morning and just, you know, write something out, just write a tiny little loop to get himself like going. He has worked so often in a solo context or small duos with me and other people, and I think the thing that's really exciting about the project is this is starting to exist in a broader context. Like it's a lot more than just like some music that he's writing for himself, that he saves for himself, that shares with a few people. I think he's starting to kind of step out, and it's really great to see him sort of realize this larger sound that I think he's got in his ears.
didn't know how to approach the project, honestly, because it wasn't an image. I kind of had this sense of what he wanted me to do, but you know, he had a particular palette that he felt like he'd seen these colors when he was making the music, and then when I went to start working on the work, I didn't hear the same colors, so that was a little, you know, I was trying to resolve that. And I kept talking to people about what I should do, and finally one of my friends said, you should just go to the studio and start drawing to the music. So I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So I prepared some paper and came in here, and I was using all of the material you see on the palette here. It's mostly oil bar and then some oil paint out of the tube as well. And just kind of started throwing paint around, and I heard all these really long lines. I felt like it was very linear, and then there were these strange little marks. And I was really enjoying that, but it's a pretty short album, so I kept having to run over, and and poor Pickles is in the corner, you know. She's a friend of Brendan's as well, but it was kind of funny because, you know, after like the 20th time, she was like, do you think we could something else?
Yeah, I want more of a dialogue.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want that pulse, like that.
If it makes sense, if we need it, yeah. Okay. Whatever direction we're taking it is to, yeah, is to either push, or I mean, you could contrast that too. It's such a funny experience to play the head and then be like, wow, I don't know what this is gonna sound like, but there it is! Do a phone reminder if you have phones.
Yeah, you get nothing out of it, or?
No,
I'm getting stuff out of it, but it's just static.
Really?
I set up some reminders. Looks like he's inspecting. You missed a little gesture.
This is going to get back
They knew the door too. They're like, the door's closed. The door's closed. You can open the door. Open the door. Open the door.
This mic.
Just like that. And I'm like, Charlie. And sometimes he's like at the door because he was trapped in the basement, but sometimes he's in their apartment.
That's what I've seen.
And it's through the doors, and he's like,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
It's really important information.
Yes, I do. I was too shy to ask. You know, this opportunity, not this opportunity, but like I wanted to, in the back of my brain, I want to document this. I don't want this to, I want to really appreciate it because it is extremely precious. And in my opinion, I think we're all very young. I think we're all very young musicians. And we're still getting our footing in the world. And I'm so curious and fascinated with the creative energy and the creative potential of all of these people. And I think this is a great. Again, it's a timestamp. I just want to say this is where we are in the third week of February in 2012.
Okay, here we are at the front of the balcony in the main theater, which holds just under 900 seats. There are actually 500 up and 400 down. The balcony a little bit bigger than the orchestra section. Here's the stage, and we have our box seats, which are not sold to the public, but certainly are envied for certain concerts. And once in a while we get a random movie patron who decides to sit there. It's really not a good view of the movie, but people do feel special when they're in them. So this is it. This room has heard everything from Busby Berkeley directing musicals on stage to U2, and of course Brendan Burns.
you.